Welcome to Momming as a Millennial, the podcast where we explore the intersection of tradition and modern parenting. Have you ever felt overwhelmed trying to balance being a mom with your professional aspirations, all while dealing with side-eye from your parents who think you're doing it wrong? Me too. I'm your host, Christine Gerizzo, a journalist, blogger, and proud mama of 2 young children. I'm so glad you're here with me. Together, we can navigate the complexities of millennial motherhood and find what resonates with our true, authentic selves. Let's dive in. Welcome to another episode of Momming as a Millennial. So I am recording this in December, and as you know, December is the most packed month of the year, especially for moms. And I feel like the demands and expectations are heightened, and honestly, like the hits just keep coming. Who ever thought of Elf on the Shelf? Please, I hate you wherever you are. It's just we keep adding things to our plates, and I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel that is just continually spinning, and I can't get control of my thoughts. I'm jumping from task to task. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, thinking about the things that are on my to-do list. And I don't know if you're like me, but I have a notepad and a pen next to my bed so that when I wake up in the middle of the night panicked about something that I have to do the next day, I could write it down and then hopefully go back to sleep, although usually that doesn't happen either. So naturally today, I wanted to talk about invisible labor and mental load that moms experience. Starting with, what do those terms actually mean? Invisible labor and mental load refer to that unseen, ongoing work of anticipating needs, planning, organizing, and managing life, especially families and households, that often goes without recognition. And it's not just doing the tasks, but it's constantly thinking about the tasks and anticipating and what's going to happen next and what do we need to focus on now and whose birthday it is. And typically that falls on the woman of the house. Why, you ask? Well, long-standing gender roles. Back in one of my first episodes, I talk about why gender roles are so pervasive in household and childcare duties. So if you want to take a listen to that one, I go a little bit more in depth. But to sum it up, girls are taught from a very young age to be the caregivers, the managers of others' needs and emotions. And whether it's an intentional thing or not, that's just how girls have been brought up for decades. And men are typically praised for helping. You know, when a man says that he is babysitting his children, literally nothing irks me more because you cannot babysit your own children. You are their parent. So it's that whole mentality that they're just helping, they're supporting, and the woman is carrying the load. So even in households where both parents are working for whatever reason, the women are still culturally positioned to be that default parent and manage all those household activities. And the invisible work quietly lands on them over and over again. And this is a consistent situation. So what are we talking about exactly when we're talking about invisible labor and that mental load? I wanted to know what you all are carrying, so I asked. And you told me. Boy, did you tell me. So the responses were crazy, I'm not going to lie. This is what you all shared. Remembering everyone's schedules, school events, sports, appointments, birthdays, deadlines, being the walking calendar of my family. Knowing when kids outgrow their clothes and buying the next size so they don't go without underwear. Or how about even knowing what sizes my kids wear? In parentheses, my husband has no idea. Keeping track of what groceries are running low and planning the meals. Being the punching bag and absorbing all emotional meltdowns and bad days. Man, can I relate to that? Managing communication with teachers, pediatricians, therapists, and other caregivers. Coordinating care for the winter break. 2 weeks off. WTF. Yeah, I can relate to that too. Managing the financial burden of Christmas and the fact that my kids are both freaking sick at every holiday. remembering to schedule dentist, doctor, and vet appointments, finding doctors that are in-network and actually covered by our insurance. One mom said, if I didn't do this, my kids would never have gotten their shots or seen a dentist in their lives. That is really a lot of pressure. Researching extracurricular activities and sports so I'm not seen as the bad mom who doesn't let my kids do anything, and then enrolling and paying for said sports and activities. Being the default parent the school or daycare calls when something goes wrong. One mom said, figuring out when it's appropriate to contact the teacher because my son was being bullied and crying that he didn't want to go to school. And then having to talk him through the situation and help him role play scenarios so he knows how to stand up for himself, all before 8 a.m. Then I had to work a full day. And another mom said, picking up and caring for my sick child who got sent home from school because I work from home and my husband doesn't, even though I still have to somehow get my work done with a crying, feverish child on my lap. Dealing with contractors, lawn cutting and snowplow services, or calling pest control for the ungodly amount of spiders that attack the house every spring. Planning all the holidays and kids' birthdays, making sure everyone gets a gift on Christmas, including teachers and aides. The one year I let my husband take the lead on gifts, he forgot our nephew. Making sure we never run out of tissues, toilet paper, diapers, or wipes. Very important things. And lastly, carrying the responsibility for the kids' social lives, setting up play dates, taking them to birthday parties, and small talk with other parents. Whew. All right. So I am exhausted just reading that list. I can pretty much relate to every single item. And again, we're not trying to shame or put any blame anywhere, but this is just the reality of the situation. Like, that is a lot of pressure that is on moms every single day. So thank you for your brutal honesty and bearing your souls. I really appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of the times we're in a place where we're struggling or we're dealing with these things day to day, and there's no outlet or nobody's talking about it for whatever reason. So now what? You're probably wondering. Do you have a solution? Can you help us? The number one thing that you can do today to start alleviate some of that burden is to, what I like to call, name it to share it. So start by making a list. I have a great resource that helps you reveal the invisible tasks that are weighing you down. And I'm going to go ahead and share that in the show notes so you can take a look at it. It has a whole bunch of things that we just talked about and more broken out into categories. And it's really helpful starting point for you to start naming the things that you're carrying on a daily basis. Naming that invisible labor is what makes it discussable. And sometimes I think just being able to speak it or, put your finger on it and say it out loud, it makes it easier to see what areas you're most struggling with. What areas in your life do you need the most help with? So then after you do that, when you're ready, and this is like a phase 2 type of situation, you can have a conversation with your partner. And you can go through that list without apologizing, without over-explaining, without justifying yourself. Just matter-of-factly going through what you're dealing with, what you think about, what is on your plate. And chances are, I think that typically they have no idea exactly how much. I mean, they know that we're doing a lot, but I don't think they understand the depths of it. And then how much mental load and mental space that it really takes up, and how 24 hours out of the day we are thinking about this stuff, even when we're sleeping. So that resource I mentioned also includes tips on how to facilitate these conversations to help make it a little bit easier. And those tips are grounded in psychological principles to really help, diffuse defensiveness that might come up and create a space for real lasting change, which is what is needed, especially in this situation. So you're going to want to get your hands on that when you're ready to actually dig in and have those tough conversations. It's a super helpful resource. Relieving yourself of your mental load and strategies on how to share your invisible labor is something that I go into detail in the program that I am launching in 2026. It's your guided journey to self-discovery and fulfillment. If you are tired of going through the motions of life and just dealing with the day-to-day, but you know that you are meant for more, or you feel that something else is calling to you and you just have no idea how to start or how to get there, this program is for you. We will talk about how to find your joy, how to reclaim your time, and how to rediscover you beyond just being a mom. So contact me if this is something that you'd like to learn more about, or if you think you might be interested, we can have more conversations. But again, I will include that information in the show notes as well. So thank you for listening. I hope that this was helpful. And please, use the resource, put it on paper, get it off your chest, and start having those tough conversations because it's really going to make a difference. So be sure to share with your millennial mom friends, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Momming as a Millennial. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend or on social. You can find more from me at contemplativemama.com. Until next time.